Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Why, hello there, and welcome to yet another Wednesday program.
Why do you say it like that? Yet another,
like it's some
burden. God,
no, actually, it's really our favorite day of the week.
Please, here we'll make Sokolowski jealous.
It's Wednesday and Thursday are tied for our favorite.
What about your sister?
No, Wednesday and Thursday
Okay,
are tied
right,
because she's not here, and it's different.
I see.
There's more, and you're trying to get away from me. You're not. Yeah, there you go. Potter just had his annual.
Why are you telling
physical,
people this stuff? And I'm in great health.
And he's in great health. We're very happy.
Yeah, the doctor said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, which is not the advice I ever expected to get from a physician. He may actually not be
You're
competent.
squeaky clean in your lifestyle. You don't do anything.
It's true. I don't have
You
very many vices.
You
It's
don't.
true.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm a lousy alt weekly editor. That's what that tells you.
You really are. I mean, you don't do anything illegal. You don't. What?
What?
I thought he's boring.
I'm boring.
No, but he's
Is
not.
that
But
your
the thing is,
definition?
he's not boring. I mean, it's you.
Well,
Your lifestyle's boring. Well, it is.
It's not you that's boring. It's your existence.
It's. I mean, you're damn lucky you got the job you do because it adds spice to an
Yes.
otherwise pretty dull existence.
Thank you very much.
Must say.
Right. I'm acutely grateful for my position in life right at this very moment, actually. So many jobs wouldn't entail me being abused in front of an audience of thousands.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Well, wouldn't you agree you have a sort of,
Yes.
Well, I'm trying to think of a proper adjective.
If it's taking
rather
you this
than
long.
boring. But, okay, here's even worse than boring. Mundane.
Mundane, thank you. Thank you.
Well.
I don't need drugs to have a good time, Lynn.
Ha, ha, ha.
I mean,
Listen, I need drugs to live. Jesus. Just you wait. Without the wonders of pharmacology, I would not even be sitting here abusing you. So who do
well, thank God for them, then. Better living through chemistry.
So who do you think Kim Jong Un's mystery woman is? Have you seen her?
No,
Well,
Minnie Mouse? Didn't he just do a thing with the whole...
Yeah, he did, but he's showing up at events with this attractive...
Oh, yeah, she is.
And for a North Korean, they say she's looking sort of stylish.
Yes. Yeah.
And, of course, only in North Korea could the president show up with somebody, and nobody knows who she is. But here, somebody has identified. First of all, somebody said, it's his sister, for
Just go on to Facebook.
Wait.
Isn't everybody in North Korea on Facebook?
No, I don't think so. But, okay, they said it's his sister.
Yeah.
And then they said, no. Someone has identified her as the former front woman for Bachanbo Electronic Music Band.
That's great.
Isn't
That is
it?
a great name for a band. That's like the kind of stuff North Koreans come up with all the time. What was it? Bachambo Electronic
Music Band. And they had several hit singles.
Such as?
They don't mention them.
Oh,
but
somebody needs to.
But she was married, and he was apparently screwing around with her. And his father, remember, Kim Jong Il,
put an end to it.
Yeah, said, stop it. So now that his father's dead, he's trotted her out. What's happened to her husband and child, though, is not known.
Oh, dear.
People doubt that he would just be parading her around if he hadn't, in fact, married her. But if he married her, what happened to her other husband?
Oh, dear.
The North Korean general.
Oh.
Or soldier. Or something. Isn't that something?
It's very David and Bathsheba-esque, isn't it? Wasn't that what he did? He took
you know what?
He assigned her husband to...
Don't look at me.
Oh, really? This is your people's story.
I know it's my people's story, but I have to admit, I've never read the whole thing.
Was in love with her, and he assigned her husband, like he sent her husband off to fight somebody, yeah. And he got killed, so he could then marry her.
Did David marry Bathsheba?
He did. Well, I can't remember if that's who it was, but it was. So it was a very controversial thing. Like, people thought.
I vaguely remember once when I was in Israel, somebody pointing to a dusty spot on a road, and saying that's where David met Bathsheba. That's the weird thing in Israel.
Like, was there like a Sheetz there or something?
No, yeah, right. I mean, but that's the weird
that was
thing.
A turnpike stop, love blossomed.
It's true. That's the weird thing about, you go to Israel and...
Yeah, they were both in for a schmuffin.
I mean, we're going by I'm on a bus and all of a sudden the bus driver said, and there to your right is Armageddon. I've told this before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that blew me away.
The Valley of Megiddo, I think, yes.
Yeah, but it just looked like
like any other place.
It just looked like part of the scenery you're driving by. Nothing special.
Nothing that suggested that a cataclysmic battle between good and evil would take place here.
No, it just doesn't. No, it's very disappointing. That's Armageddon, I thought. Well, screw that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I said, it's summer. I didn't say this so that the audience heard it, but I think I said it to you. It's summer, and there's no news. Why is that?
That's completely not true.
The legislature, our hard-working legislature in Harrisburg, they ain't in Harrisburg anymore.
They're working in the district.
They went on get this, see if you could ever have a 3-month paid vacation.
They're in the district.
3 months.
In the district.
Oh,
just because they're not in Harrisburg,
Oh, yeah, I bet.
They're out there taking the pulse, doing constituent service.
What a bunch of crap. And you wonder why there's no money. God, what a polluted... Speaking of pollution. There's a quote in your paper that made my blood run cold. And
was it something I said?
No.
Oh, good.
It's something that Kathy Pedler said. I don't know who she is.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Okay. But here's what she said. The Allegheny, and she means the Allegheny National Forest. The Allegheny, they've just written it off as an extractive forest. Right. It's being liquidated. Good God! I don't know what any of that means, but I don't like the sound of it.
Well,
first of all, wait a minute. Who are they? They have them. The bad guys. I know, but which one?
Well, this is this is a reference to the story that's actually featured on our cover, which is by Bill O'Driscoll, who furnishes our excellent environmental coverage, and it's about essentially they have recently discovered in the Allegheny Forest itself. This is going to sound to some people kind of crazy, but what are called synchronous fireflies. And synchronous fireflies.
Oh, it's like synchronous swimming.
Sort of, in that they differ from the fireflies like in your backyard.
Yeah.
In that. All of the male fireflies
do it at the same time?
They all go dark at the same time.
Cool.
And apparently the reason they do this is so that they can all then look around and see where the female firefly is.
But wait, if they go dark, how do they see?
I don't know. Apparently they can still see the female even because they've got special firefly powers. So this is a type of firefly that, incidentally, this is something I learned from the story that I didn't know before. Fireflies are not flies; they're actually a kind of beetle. So there you go. So they should be called fire beetles or something like that.
Yeah, they look more beetle-like, actually.
Winged beetles.
So
previously, people only thought...
Oh, and remind me to tell you my latest fly story.
I will do that very thing.
Thank you.
See, you said nothing was happening this the summer months. So these previously it was believed that this species only really existed in Tennessee and some of those kind of mountainous states to the south of us. So the discovery of these things is of interest to people who are interested in fireflies and insects generally.
Entomologists.
Right, yes. The problem is that at least this particular group of fireflies is within an area of the Allegheny National Forest where gas drilling. There's a drilling site there.
I knew it.
And what I think Ms. Pedler is referring to, she's a sort of environmental activist. For a long time, it's not exactly new, although the problem has been magnified by gas drilling. But for a long time, there has been the concern that the Allegheny National Forest, as is true of many national forests, the government has typically been very willing to allow lumber companies to come in and clear cut areas and do stuff like that. So the concern now is that logging, which has been an issue there for a long time, there has been other kinds of gas drilling in the forest as well for a long time, but that those industries combined with natural gas drilling really threatens not just these fireflies, but then potentially the whole legacy of this forest. That I think the point here is that we don't even really know just how diverse and special these places can be.
So this is not the state doing this. This is the purview of the National Forest.
The forest side of it is, yes, the Forest Service, the logging is, but apparently and this is something else I didn't know. Apparently, even if the federal government owns the ground, they don't necessarily own the mineral rights beneath the ground, and so their ability to prevent drilling from happening is circumscribed. It's highly limited.
Whoa, wait! If they own the ground, they can say, "You ain't putting that drill on my ground."
No, apparently, one of the things you get.
Oh,
what you get is the ability to access. There's no what use is having the mineral rights if you can't get at them.
So. Okay, all right. Them that's got just own everything. They they rig everything else.
Yes, with actual rigs. in the case
in
of
this
drilling.
case.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's a cute cover because they have the synchronous fireflies.
That's not the cover. Oh, yeah, that's like a little inset. Yeah, they're all spelling out help.
Help.
Help us.
Before they synchronistically go dark.
Yes. And the problem is one reason people don't see more of these fireflies is they're especially sensitive, even more than regular fireflies, to light. So light from any kind of facility, light from trucks or whatever driving to get to the thing.
Oh, so
all of these things are...
They might all go into swooning fits and die.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's an important dispatch from my news editor.
Is there something breaking?
Yes, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, we're getting a visit. We're getting a visit from a prominent Democrat in the next hour. So.
You mean by we? You mean
this is the paper,
city paper?
Yes.
A prominent Democrat.
No, it just doesn't matter. It's about. We'll be talking about this, which I'm sure you've been discussing. This contract issued to the Romney fundraiser to tell people about the dangers of. You haven't been following this at all. So you thought there was nothing going on.
I'm looking with the
I tweeted about this. Aren't you following my Twitter feed? No, this is so.
Oh, I do follow your Twitter feed.
Yes.
So okay, well,
okay, so
elucidate.
As we all know, voter ID is coming to a balloting place near you this November, and the state.
It's an outrage.
And the state is now spending $5 million in total to notify people of this problem that the state itself has created. To address
and
the fictional
supposedly to
problem
tell
of
people how to get a voter ID that will pass muster so they can vote. So that it looks like they're saying, we don't want you to be disenfranchised. Right. Here's how you vote. Well, this is all wonderful.
The first contract has been let out, and it's a $250,000 contract.
No, it's a $249,640. Because anything over $250
it had to be just under the cap.
Does not have to be.
That's correct.
And these sons of bitches.
And the winner of that contract is an organization called the Bravo Group,
yes,
whose head, Chris Bravakos, I may have mispronounced that, is a top fundraiser for Mitt Romney.
Yes.
And so he got this contract through an expedited bidding process.
And can we remind people that a certain Republican legislator said,
Mike Terzai, the majority leader for the Republicans in the state house,
very clearly told cheering Republicans that they had passed voter ID, thus ensuring Mitt Romney's
is going to win
victory. So they do voter ID, and then they put a Romney bundler, a fundraiser, major fundraiser for Romney, in charge of supposedly telling the newly disenfranchised how they might be able to vote.
Right. So all of this was tumbled to by a reporter at the Philadelphia City paper.
What do you mean tumbled to?
I mean, he discovered that this contract had been let out, and he's the first person to report it.
I never heard that. Tumbled?
Yeah. When you tumble to something, you discover it, you realize it. Really? You never heard that expression?
No.
Well, there you go. Now you have. And one of the things he also discovered was that this Bravo Group had put on its it's not YouTube, it's one of the other ones, I just can't remember, but on its own little video channel, it had a couple of what looked to be commercials advertising this voter ID requirement, and the commercials are an absolute hoot. You can't go to their video channel for them because once this guy posted them, they took them down. But Occupy Harrisburg backed up a copy and put it out on YouTube.
They're a hoot
because they're so awful. I mean, the one ad basically suggests that voter ID. It has like images of women suffragists, casting their first ballot in the 1920s, and then, the Civil Rights Act, and, those are like the only black people you see in either of these ads. And, so the idea is that voter ID is continuing the legacy of women's suffrage and ensuring that black people get the vote. So it's just this great Orwellian thing of this thing to take the vote away from people is just like the reforms to give people the vote. I mean, it's great. So these ads are there. They're just unbelievable. And now, because Occupy Harrisburg put them on YouTube, now Bravo Group is telling them that they have violated Bravo Group's copyright by putting these ads up. So it's interesting. I don't know whether they've come down or not. I mean, assume Bravo will eventually go to YouTube if they haven't already and ask to have the ads.
Well, has anyone in the Corbett administration
spoken to this stuff?
Spoken to the fact that they did put in place this Romney partisan and fundraiser to oversee something so important to a supposedly fair election.
I don't believe they have.
Yeah, well, God, tell me something that won't make me sick. So some prominent Democrats coming to talk to you about it.
Yes, the guy running. I mean, he's Eugene DePasquale, the guy who's running for Auditor General of the state.
Okay.
So that's it.
Now, is Jeep DePasquale obviously
Jeep
related
was his grandfather.
to?
Yes, Jeep was his grandfather.
I hope he's over the generations that the DePasquales have gotten a little brighter. That's all I want to say.
Yes, no, I've met him. I've met him. Yes, he's a state representative from York, Pennsylvania.
Okay, because his grandfather, as I recall, was somebody I never could take seriously.
Yeah, right. He was a beloved local figure.
Character.
Yes, a beloved local character.
Yeah.
No, so no, Eugene is
okay.
Is a sharp knife.
Okay. Speaking of a big story, it's a big national story, Scranton.
Yes.
Have you heard about what's going on there?
Yes.
Well, what the hell is going on there? The mayor, the city is literally broke.
Yeah.
They've got no money. They can't pay bills. They can't pay their. So the mayor has made everybody who works for the city has reduced their salaries to minimum wage, including his own.
Yeah.
But he can't even make that payroll.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's happening?
A lot of communities. I don't know the specifics of what's going on in Scranton, but I can tell you another community in California just basically declared bankruptcy out there.
A big community. It's the largest city ever. Yeah. Why am I blanking on what?
Because they all have names like San something or other.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I almost wanted to say Sacramento, but it's not it.
No, it's not Sacramento.
No, but it's a big city.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the, it's a combination of a variety of things. It's cuts in federal funding to the states. It's the economic downturn and the lagging economy, and the fact that pension requirements are an ongoing and very serious problem. So all of that stuff is combining to really put these communities in bad shape. Harrisburg itself, has serious problems. Harrisburg's a somewhat unusual circumstance because Harrisburg's financial problems can really be tied to this incinerator that they build and that they've never been able to pay for.
Well, not to mention, aren't they the ones that had the mayor who had a Wild West museum?
Yes.
Who was, just insanity.
Right. In fairness, there's not a lot to do in Harrisburg. Wild West Museum could probably have seemed like a good idea at some point.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in Harrisburg screwing up our lives.
Yeah, right.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Well, you're depressing. Isn't there something
upbeat?
What's with Jesse Jackson Jr.?
Yeah. Apparently he's taking a little time for himself.
No, well, they say mystery illness. Do you think, is there some thing coming after him and he's all of a sudden swooning, or do you think there's mental? Is it manufactured? Is it?
So I've heard a few things. I've heard a few things. One is that he does have a bit of a history of insomnia, which may be related to some depression issues. I've heard that. I think his staff was on, one of his staffers, I think his top aide was on one of the morning programs today, saying that essentially he's just dealing with exhaustion stemming partly from insomnia. There's a theory that a guy who's done fundraising for Jackson and for other, as well as other politicians, is apparently a person of interest to the FBI. There's apparently a federal investigation going on there. So there's some people who think that it may be tied to that. Then there are defenders who say that it's tied to that only in the sense that Jesse Jackson Jr. takes it personally when people make that kind of allegation, and it's not fair. So I don't know what the answer is. Apparently, he may not be back until after Labor Day, is what the word was today.
But where is he? He's just swooning on the couch?
Somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's like Kim Jong Un's mystery woman.
Yeah.
Jesse, what other mysteries do we have?
I want to like that kid for some reason.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because
it's just I don't know.
You think underneath it all, he might be a normal guy.
He's the best shot we've got, right? He did spend some of his formative years in the West. He attended school in Switzerland. I don't know. You probably shouldn't judge books by their cover, but he looks too baby-faced to be a cruel dictator. But I guess, what are you going to do? He probably is one. But there's a part of me that just hopes he just goes crazy in this way that's really beneficial for everybody. The fact that he had these Disney characters at his thing, I don't know. It's just that place must be the weirdest trip ever to just go through there. That would be just a great reporting thing for a week. So you knew you didn't have to be there for
and you would get out alive.
That you would get out, but you would just be there, and just all the weirdness of them trying to construct a reality around you and probably doing a really bizarre job.
But all the people there that are just they're eating.
Yeah,
they're
it's terrible.
chewing on
it's terrible.
trees.
I don't mean to make light of the by all accounts very dire circumstances for the people there themselves. I just think it's a far out. And then the great thing about this, so then the news accounts of this party with the Disney characters, they called up the Disney people and they were like, he didn't get our permission for that.
No, of course not.
Of course not. You know what I mean? Why don't you go sue him then? Good luck with that.
It is. It's very odd.
Because that's probably what it's like inside his head much of the time. They're just Disney characters with giant hands and feet.
You can't have...
Don't you think?
I mean, think of like his reality from day one has been so bizarre that how could he be anything but screwy?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. To have been introduced in any way to the rest of the world by being in Switzerland, which is not really representative of the rest of the world, but anyway,
right?
You know, and other people from other places, and then to return to this strange. Of course, his reality in North Korea is fine.
Yes.
One even wonders if he even knows what's going on in North Korea.
Yeah.
One wonders if, in fact, he is running anything.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's just a completely...
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Well, you just want to peek under the curtain, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, he might not actually. I mean, he could just be like a bad suit being worn by like a dozen marmots or something. I mean,
we have no idea.
You can't absolutely not tell what's going on with that.
Well, the fact that all the spy agencies in the universe, all of the, with all the technology and everything, we don't know a damn thing. It's why the woman standing next to him, it's unclear who she is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm a little surprised that even our spy agencies don't even know who the Bachombo electronic music band is. It seems like I mean, Grant, we might not know about their nuclear aspirations or whatever. I can understand where that would be a secret, but you should be able to pick out a pop star.
I was stunned to find out that there was a rock band in North Korea. Yeah. How could there be?
What do you mean, how could there be?
That seems like sort of a pollution of, Western values.
Yeah, but don't you think the lyrics are all like, we're so lucky to have a dear leader like our Kim Jong Un?
Maybe.
Don't you think like
I don't know. We don't know.
And their music videos, again, probably feature animated animals with big hands and feet.
Oh, God. Hey, if anybody out there wants to talk about anything in particular, let us know. Because, as you can see...
This program may lack a certain direction today.
Yes, it does. It definitely...
That's your fault.
Does. It is totally my fault. Right. Listen, I went through 4 entire newspapers. There's nothing in them. I read the New York Times. There is nothing in there.
That can't be true. Although you don't have any little torn out things.
I didn't. It's the first time I came in without any torn out anything. God. Nothing. I looked at the Post-Gazette. Nothing. I mean, tomorrow, Free comes out with his report. That'll be big, but that doesn't give me any help today. Right? There's nothing.
You could speculate idly on it. That's what Wolf Blitzer would do in this situation.
Well, I heard Marty Griffin.
Oh, no.
Oh, your friend.
No.
Was freaking out over on his station about these 2 cases. And it is the kind of thing where you just cannot believe it. The 2-year-old child who's now dead, who some idiot put on the back of a dirt bike.
Yes.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
And then the 3-year-old who shot himself in the eye with a gun. The kids were playing with a gun. This is in New Kensington or something. And so, of course, you can imagine Marty's freaking out about, I guess.
What's wrong with people, responsibility, blah, blah.
Exactly. Why does parenting in America seem to come in 2 varieties? That's it.
The obsessive, compulsive, and totally indifferent.
That's right.
Well, because nobody else, people who are doing their jobs competently, you never hear about them.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They don't call attention to themselves.
I mean, is there anybody doing it competently?
Not in my house, I can tell you. Or my parents' house, for that matter, obviously.
No, but I mean, you're right. It's either OCD parenting, the so-called helicopter parents, or it's this, feral kind of...
Feral is a good word.
Raised by wolves. Yeah, really. And of the 2, I think kids might be better off with the feral approach.
So whose gun was it? Was it like the...
I don't even know if they... Oh, and the gun has disappeared. So it's somebody's gun in the house. Who the hell knows? Jesus, God. People are, but, and I heard somebody hysterically saying, where are people getting these guns? And he said,
from
where
the
are people?
Gun store?
Yeah, where are people getting these guns? And he said, I thought we had strong gun control laws. And I almost drove off the road. I almost drove off the road.
I thought we had strong gun control laws. People don't really. That's amazing. I was just reading a book, and this is something that I'll be writing about in a couple months, and this is something we've probably talked about before, but it's about sort of crime and crime and law enforcement. And one of the things, we've got a call. I'll stop talking. Here we go. Hello? Where do we get those guns, caller?
Hello?
Hello yourself.
Hi.
This is Robert calling, my dear internet friend.
Hello.
Listen, you're talking about gun control?
Yes.
Did you guys happen to see the full-length infomercial by the National Rifle Association?
No, where was this at?
I just saw it last night or the night before, and their entire program is to rid the White House of President Obama.
Naturally.
Because, according to them, America's in danger because of his gun thoughts and his gun policies. They don't say exactly what.
That's right. And if he's reelected, he's going to do it. He's going to take everybody's guns away. And the fact that this president has done absolutely nothing on the gun control.
That's not fair. He's actually made it easier to carry guns in national parks.
Okay, he's made it easier.
So, yeah.
So, isn't it amazing that the NRA can continue to freak out its base with absolute spurious? You can't call it information. What disinformation? No, then that's redundant.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's scare tactics.
Yeah,
they show citizens in England who, and they showed films of the guns being collected in England and cut up and then melted, and they show crime stats and all that sort of thing, and they're associating the fact that there are no guns in England with how America will become.
Wait a minute. Okay, my head's exploding.
Yes.
Last time I looked, America's crime was so far and away greater gun crime than England's. What terrible thing is going to happen? How do they show some horror that awaits us?
They showed horror with home invasions and how Brits can't defend themselves, that sort of thing. And the entire program was to get you to join the NRA, and if you do, you get a wonderful tote bag that has NRA logos on the side.
That's it? A tote bag?
Yeah, well,
how about an ammo belt or like those bandoliers that like the Mexican bandits wear in the movies?
I think you get a wallet card as well.
Boo!
Gee.
Monogrammed holster at least?
I'm not sure, but I'll bet you, and I know you guys won't go see this, but I'll bet you the NRA has that infomercial on their website.
Oh, no, I would love to see that, actually. I love things like that.
Yeah, well, it's, who's the leader? LaPierre, I think.
Yeah, Wayne LaPierre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they interview a bunch of Western state Republicans saying how Obama must leave the White House and they have to get rid of him. If he doesn't leave the White House, America's in grave danger.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Blah, blah, grave danger.
Oh, dear.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for the report.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm sure home invasions have happened in Great Britain. I'm sure of it. So, but they happen here too.
And again, I would argue that they probably happen more often here. I don't think Great Britain is awash in home invasion. I mean, come on! It's just such.
But this is the thing. It's like you can
stupid.
But this is what I found interesting, and I kind of started to talk to this before we got the call, which is a good one. That crime rates, even when they're historically low, polling data shows that Americans are convinced that it's higher now than it's ever been before. And in fact, it's lower now than it has been at any time since, I think, the 1960s. So,
because Americans are the most misinformed human beings.
We're really
ever since this thing called the information age came around the bend, we have gotten stupider and stupider and stupider because there's all this crap out there and nobody's sorting through it and people are swallowing things whole.
Although in fairness, apparently the leading reason for people being misinformed has nothing to do with the internet, has everything to do with local TV news. Coverage of violent crime has gone up, even though the incidence of violent crime has gone down. So what do people know? Basically, what they know about their communities in the wide world is what they see on TV. So if TV shows more and more crime happening, that is the reality to people.
I actually checked out the 10 o'clock news last night because my son had been out in the car late afternoon, and he saw a horrific sight. He saw a bicyclist hit by a car. He saw the bicyclist going through the air, splat on the pavement. Did
he have a helmet, the bicyclist?
And he said, I can't remember, I don't know, but he wasn't moving. He was and my son really thought he'd seen somebody get killed. And so he wanted to see he said, I want to see what happened and, if he's okay or whatever. So we looked, and there was nothing on, and there was nothing in the paper today. So I'm assuming this guy is alive. Yeah. But the thing is, the local news was one car accident after another. It was one crumpled piece of metal after another. Like, this is what I need to know.
Right.
Unbelievable. Hello.
Well, hello. I want to talk about the gun crimes again.
Sure.
All right.
The caller who said that the NRA situation with the video about England home robberies, they obviously didn't get the report that came out late last year of some 80-some-year-old woman whose house had gotten robbed. And she met her assailant. She took her cane and just started assailing the guy with it. And every time he would try to get up, he'd say, "Let me go, let me go." And she would just knock him back down again and just go, "No."
This is an English woman, or was this here in the States?
No, it was in England. It was on some broadcast they do. It's Russell Howard's Good News. He's a stand-up comedian who does all of these weird, news of the weird type stuff.
Yeah.
And they had the interview with the woman, and she was just so vicious when she said, and then he'd say, go.
We lost you.
Wow, I thought that was just me. Oh dear.
Oh, we lost.
That's great. I love stuff like that. That's like years ago. There was a TV show on Fox called When Animals Attack.
Yes.
And I didn't actually see the show, but the commercial itself just had this deer, like a deer with antlers and stuff, going after a bow hunter. Like the hunter was there, and the deer's like gets up on its on its hind hooves, I guess, and then starts like doing this.
The hunter's
like cringing. He's got this giant compound bow, with like the 4 things going on it, and the hunter's going,
I love it.
What did I do to you? And the deer's just like
I love it. We got to take a break, for God's sakes.
All right.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Pick up this week's Pittsburgh City Paper for our annual City Guide magazine, the definitive publication on the Burgh. Vote now in Pittsburgh City Paper's annual Best of Pittsburgh Readers Poll and register to win a new iPad. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Hey, Billy, want to go to the state fair?
Yeah!
Well, you can't.
Huh?
Well, you see, Billy, when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have done with it. But now your parents are becoming energy efficient. They could save hundreds of dollars a year and take you to the fair next year.
I want to go now.
Oh, I know you do. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
You in the City and Hosanna House Summer Nights present Jazz Under the Stars, starring Najee, Friday, July 13th. 8 p.m. at the Sherwood Events Center in Wilkinsburg. Tickets available at Dorsey's, Stediford's, or charge by phone at 1-800-383-5760. Najee, live in concert July 13th. Proceeds benefit Hosanna House, a place called Hope.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okay. Let's see what else we got here.
Wait, Allie writes in.
Most of my extended family still lives in Scranton, and the issues they are facing are issues we could be facing in a few years. The city has a shrinking, aging population, about 78,000, and nonprofits have taken over most of the real estate in the city area. The University of Scranton, the Roman Catholic College, is the largest landowner. You have a few families that have had political control of the city in this area, and look at the city as if there were their own clubhouse. The only thing I can say is different between Scranton and Pittsburgh is the best view of Scranton is from the rear view mirror.
Aww.
You know, I was just asked yesterday to give a speech in Scranton in October. How far away is Scranton?
That's a good little drive.
Like how much? 5 hours?
I don't think quite that
4
much.
4 hours?
Like, yeah. You going to do it?
Maybe, because they're going to pay me. They want me to whip up the local Democrats before the...
Oh, good. Good. Yep.
You think? I should go to Scranton?
Sure. Go to Scranton. Explore the highways and byways of this glorious Commonwealth.
Okay, I will.
Poor Scranton.
Ray writes, I was watching the news in my favorite pub. Up came a story of a boy having his arm bitten off. I saw that by an alligator while swimming in Florida. All there were amazed that a parent would let their child be exposed to such danger. 2 minutes later, we saw 2 stories of local children being shot here in Pittsburgh. I wondered out loud if rural Florida parents would wonder what kind of parents we are. Every town has gators of one kind. Yeah, I mean, a kid getting... No, our parents here with the guns are much worse than a kid getting his arm bitten off. Don't you think?
Those are the kind of choices you hate to have to make, though.
Would you like your kid playing with a gun or riding on the back of a dirt bike at the age of 2? Or swimming in some swimming hole that happened to contain an alligator.
Wow, good question, Lynn. I don't know.
No, but the kid who had his arm bitten off, I saw a picture of him. He's an older kid. I mean, that's not a 2 or 3 year old. That's a kid who should have known better.
Was he provoking the alligator?
No. He was just swimming and somebody screamed alligator and he didn't get out in time.
Honestly, I mean, I think the safest thing is for people just to not live in Florida.
Well, generally speaking,
I'm just against Florida as a general proposition.
I am too. I've always been against Texas in that same vein, but Florida, yeah.
And that's what bums me out about this whole voter ID thing. Like, Pennsylvania could be the Florida of 2012.
Yeah, I saw you tweet something like that. Yeah, we could be.
I mean, it's shaping up. You know, the State Department of State who handles the elections still had outdated information about the voter ID bill itself as recently as Monday. So they've still got wrong information on their own website. About voter ID requirements, what you can need and what you can bring.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there was still outdated information there.
Where did I hear that in Florida you can vote if you bring in your handgun?
Yes!
Your concealed handgun permit?
Of course!
That lets you in. But if you bring in your student ID?
Student ID, no. God, jeez. You can get a student ID from any slipshod institution of higher learning.
It's not even, what is it? It's not even subtle. It's so absolutely in your face.
The irony of that too. The irony of that too is that Florida is notorious for having really slipshod requirements for getting a concealed weapons permit. In fact, Florida allows people in other states.
Yes.
It's called the Florida loophole, essentially, and they do absolutely nothing to check they don't even ask you in Florida if you're applying from another state, is the problem that you can't get a permit in your own state? They don't even ask that question, although it's the most obvious question in the world to ask. So it's just like there's just places that basically their business model is they essentially help people get Florida gun permits if they can't do it in their own states. So it's just great that you have like when bullshit right-wing talking points collide, right? You know, so on the one hand, voter ID, we have to have, you know, make sure that everybody's a citizen, and then, but we're going to allow one method of proof to that to be these gun permits, which, in order to cater to the NRA, are ridiculously easy to get.
You know, changing the subject, I failed to ask. Well, I didn't have an opportunity to ask you. You had the misfortune, I would think, of covering Obama's speech at CMU, which meant you were outside on a 98-degree day for how long, with people dropping like flies?
Yes, but the media had its own tent, and we were underneath the trees.
Oh, so you were not in.
Yes, I was watching. Largely elderly, mostly black women go down and get hauled into the little tent where they were treated very well. It was actually the paramedics were really that I saw were doing a hell of a job.
Oh, sure.
And very solicitous of the crowd and really doing great work there. But yes, it was. Meanwhile, by contrast, I mean, you'll appreciate this. By contrast, the Republican pre-Buttle event, starring such luminaries as Bobby Jindal and Tim Pawlenty.
One of those guys could well be the vice presidential choice.
Yes, that was indoors.
Yes, and nobody was there.
And there's hardly anybody there, so there was no body. Kind of a funny story about that, too, but we got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, guys. George from Moon.
Hi, George.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good.
Fine.
Just want to inject another little thing about the restrictions on voting. Is that several of the states, Florida for sure, and I'm not sure, I'm still doing some research on Pennsylvania, but this is something I brought up to Chris Moore on another program concerning the minority community.
Right.
Those restrictive laws have been put into place that allow independent and state-related universities to use student ID cards if they have an expiration date on it.
Right.
But they totally reject traditional black colleges.
Wait a minute.
From using their IDs at all.
Wait, how could that be?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Yes.
You're saying Lincoln University, which is a historically black college.
Well, I'm not sure about Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay. I would be very much surprised if that was the case.
Check it out because check it out because I know Florida for sure.
That's not even subtle.
No, that's what I say. That it's just flat out
disenfranchisement.
No, it is, and how this is not immediately declared. Isn't there a hold on that law? Or
I mean the Department of
Justice. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Justice Department.
Yes, because they're under the jurisdiction of the Voting Rights Act, which Pennsylvania is not.
But not states like Pennsylvania.
No, and they're under the jurisdiction of the Voting Rights Act because they have a history
of doing things like
exactly this kind of thing.
I'll let you guys go. I'll talk more.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm so pissed off. Hi, Lynn. I'm 99% sure this is the NRA infomercial.
Here we go.
In the very first sentence, LaPierre says Obama must go.
And this is www.firearmsfuture.com.
Okay, can we play a little bit of it here?
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hang on.
It's just come up 3 times for some reason.
This is called the UN Arms Trade Treaty.
Dun, dun, dun.
Here's LaPierre. I urge you to do your part.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Everything we love about America, all the freedoms our forefathers fought for, all of it is under attack by Barack Obama. But the media won't tell you that or show you the story you're about to see.
Because it's not true.
So you've got to watch this. And your friends and family members and fellow Americans do too. So pass this story along, then join the NRA. Upgrade your membership or donate. Let's all defend our freedoms this year. Thank you.
Wow. Stop
okay,
there. One world.
One world.
Un-American. Unarmed. Oh, and it's un-hyphenated, so it's UN. Oh, they're so clever. Okay, please stop that. That's
okay, we can't.
Quite a coup getting Massive Attack to do the soundtrack there.
And okay, so we're sitting here laughing at this.
Yes.
How many millions of Americans watch this with rapt attention, swallow it whole, Oh dear God.
That was a mouth harp being played through a synthesizer for this. My oh my.
Depressing.
Yeah. Well, that's the world they live in. You know, this thing I was at, this Republican thing was just like Tim Pawlenty goes at one point goes Mitt Romney doesn't believe in government takeover of healthcare. It's like Mitt Romney pioneered it.
It doesn't matter.
And they're like, yay!
I know. It's absolutely. I don't know if I can handle it anymore.
Actually, probably the funniest moment of that whole thing was, so at one point they get up, and this just tells you why does the GOP have like a 13-point deficit with women voters? It's because of stuff like this. They get this woman gets up, who's a committee woman from somewhere in Washington County, to sing the national anthem. And her voice is, it's PNC Park worthy. She's
really?
Glorious. Just a wonderful voice, yeah. Maybe not Heinz Field worthy, but PNC Park for sure. And,
What's that about?
What's that about is there's a difference between you play like 80 home games. Yeah, there's a difference. I'm saying it was good. Maybe not like professional grade, but good. She's also physically
she's
quite
a babe.
She's attractive.
Well, there's something about these Republican women.
Jim Roddy, county chair of the GOP,
he said something sexist.
Gets up and he goes,
"Yeah,
she sings as good as she looks."
Yeah.
And a reporter next to me turned to me. I won't identify her. Turned to me and said, "Really?" She sings as good as she looks.
All right, here we go.
What a caboose.
Okay, stop laughing and take your phone calls, will you?
Okay,
yes.
we're here.
We're here now.
It's George again.
Okay.
Hi.
I forgot to tell you about something else, too.
All right.
Okay, my experience with the NRA. Back in 1968, I joined the NRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I was fresh out of the military, and I was going to college, and I wanted to get connected on. I was interested in
Girls.
marksmanship that I had gotten from the military, and I always liked that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to continue, and I took the NRA for their word that they were after gun safety
Sure.
for hunters and for marksmen and gun rifle collectors.
Enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
I resigned. I think it took me like 3 or 4 years of the experience of the late 60s, early 70s, but I resigned because then I found out they were not for those things.
Right.
That's like 3% of their activity.
Right.
The other rest of it is to sell ammunition, weapons, and to lobby to sell that crap of any extent. And it's not about rifles. It's about explosives, firearms, and everything that has to do with it.
Right.
That was my experience. I would never go back to the NRA. They are worse today than they were, 10 years back, 20 years back. They've gotten increasingly worse, and now they've distorted the Second Amendment of the Constitution.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
I was a member of the NRA for a little while.
Were you really?
Because you remember they have their convention, and to get in, there's an admission price, but the admission price is really essentially you're only allowed to go to the convention if you're a member. But a membership only costs like $10. So essentially you're paying a $10 admission. What that has entitled me to, even though I was a member for 1 year because that's all I wanted to pay for to go in and see the thing, what it has entitled me to ever since is I am now on the calling list for all kinds of crazy right-wing groups. So I get I get calls from my personal friend Newt Gingrich and stuff like that. Like every time he's got a new book out, I get a call, and it's the same. It's like the Wayne LaPierre. Our freedoms have never been more
at risk
than they are today. I hope you'll listen to this message. And it's Barack Obama is the worst socialist since Jimmy Carter, which is also kind of a comical notion. All that stuff. So
remember how we used to say that one of us is up and one of us is down? Yeah. You're laughing at stuff today, and I am just increasingly in a sea of despond.
Yeah, you got to work on that. Because it's the optimists who go places.
And it's the optimists who get good reports from their doctors.
Yes, it's true.
That is true.
My blood pressure, I was told, could not be better. How about that?
Jeez.
How about that? I walked out of there just like...
Unbelievable.
Like it's an accomplishment. Like woohoo. Yeah.
Well,
keep doing whatever you're doing. I'm like, all I do is drink beer and feel sorry for myself.
Yeah, well,
so it's working. So there you go. Yeah.
We got to take a break.
Okay.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to birdbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, the History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. During the month of July, spend $50 on Bird Bargains merchandise and receive a $10 gift certificate to Buca di Beppo. Birdbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. Birdbargains.com.
Gustavo and Vella wants to thank all of southwestern Pennsylvania, the USA, and the world for helping to liberate his native country of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea has suffered 43 years of dictatorship, 43 years of human rights abuses, 43 years of corruption, and 43 years of kleptocracy. Even with $5 billion in oil revenue in 2011, the 700,000 citizens of Equatorial Guinea earn less than $2 per day. A proud Mount Lebanon resident, please help Gustavo and Vella usher in the 21st century by allowing freedom, democracy, and socioeconomic prosperity by the rule of law for the next 43 years and beyond. Email him at presidentandvella@yahoo.com to help free Equatorial Guinea.
Get Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
I don't suppose you watched the All-Star Game last night.
I guess we won or something.
Yeah, well, the National League, yes.
That's us.
Yeah, we shut them out. That's right.
Yeah.
Our guys, the Pirates there, did a good job.
Did they?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Don't care.
Huh?
Don't care.
God.
I can't. The only thing I care less about is probably the Pro Bowl.
I cannot talk to anybody that comes in here about sports.
Yeah, maybe you should get like a Friday guest who's like a sports person, and then you could.
Yeah.
You could like do your whole.
And I have a feeling you're probably representative of the audience too. I probably shouldn't.
No, I wouldn't say that. I used to care.
Yeah? And what happened?
There was an incident with a bag of peanuts, and now I don't care.
Oh, for God's sake. Are you kidding me?
No.
You're not kidding.
No. Mm-mm.
An incident with a bag of peanuts.
Yes.
And okay.
And I just said, that's the end of that. It actually, it was more about a thing of nachos than the peanuts, but yeah. In fairness.
Is there a sport that you follow with any?
I used to follow the Steelers, and then when our son was born, I resolved that I was going to spend time with my kid and not watching damn football games.
You're supposed to spend time with your kid watching football games.
I just would prefer that not to
be the way you bond.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? You think you're protecting him from this. You know what?
I know what'll
that
happen.
little bruiser kid of yours.
I know. Because they always become the opposite of what you encourage them to be.
Exactly. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. Ha ha. He's gonna be a linebacker. That's what he's gonna be.
He's big for his age. I do worry about that.
I know, and he's got that big head too.
Well, that'll keep him out of it because they won't be able to find a helmet that fits him. No, it's like the other thing too is like you really realize the extent to which there's this like cult of sports in this country.
Yeah.
You can barely not find like a onesie or an outfit for a kid
that doesn't have
for a boy
logo
that doesn't have like Daddy's Little Slugger. There's no shirt that's like Daddy's Little Scholar.
Oh, come
Daddy's
on.
Little Chemist.
Ah, jeez.
Daddy's Little Web App Developer. Daddy's Little Liberal Arts Major. Who's going to use this for your degree?
Why do those T-shirts always say "Daddy's Little"? Do they say "Mommy's"?
There are mommy's ones, but again, for a boy especially, it's this male cult of sport. That's the thing. So it does tend to be Daddy's Little Slugger because only Daddy gives a shit about whether your kid can hit a ball or not.
Not necessarily.
Mommies have that's not true. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that's the idea.
But if you look at most men, most men aren't good at doing small talk, and sports is how men talk to other men.
Yeah.
So how do you talk to other men?
I don't. Never really have.
What? You do talk to women.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. See any good movies lately?
Oh man, we're really padding out the last
I know. I don't know what the hell to talk about.
haven't.
It's so depressing. Everything.
I haven't really.
You haven't?
I want to see this Magic Kingdom thing.
I saw it.
Is it good?
I loved it.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, and I think you will love it.
Yeah, it seems like
the lead character, the little boy, reminds me of you.
Oh dear. Big head.
Yeah, he has a big head, and glasses, and he's wonderful.
Does he suffer from like allergies?
No,
and
he's
stuff?
an orphan. It's just no. But he's wonderful. I love that movie. I thought it was great. Apparently, some people don't.
Yeah.
Older people love it.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But not the young.
I don't know. I think my son saw it and he liked it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I said, "How did you see it? When did you see it?" Because he tells me where he's going and stuff. He said, "Bootleg."
Bootleg already?
God.
Man.
I said, "Hey, you got to pay for stuff. What is that? What is
the
that?"
The next thing you know, people are going to be downloading this program for free, and then what the hell are we going to be?
Yeah. How am I supposed to make a living?
Or just picking up my paper.
Yeah.
Just from a stand someplace.
Yeah, and thinking that they don't have to pay anything. How does anybody make a living?
I don't know. It's becoming increasingly difficult question to answer these days.
It sure is. God almighty. Yeah, that's a cute one.
All
and
right.
I think your lovely wife would like it too.
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
I can babysit if you guys want.
Okay. And Jess will babysit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Go see it.
All right, maybe I will. And there you go. We made it to 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
Phew. I was a little worried there, right around the 25-minute.
Nothing. If Potter hadn't been here today, I would have just called it off. I mean, there was nothing. I didn't have any. I'm serious.
So this is my fault? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's nothing going on. Look, the legislature left.
That's just what they want you to think,
Yeah,
Lynn.
I know. That's right.
That's when you really have to pay attention, when nothing's going on.
This is true. Okay. Well, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
As usual.
Bye.
Thank you guys, too. Bye. Tomorrow, Sokolowski. Yeah, here's...
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.